inspiring stories from other change makers designed to motivate you to become the change you want to see in your world. Make sure you join our Changemakers community at drunamagnus.com/podcast. And now it is time for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hello, my lovely audience at the Changemakers podcast. It's Runa here, and I have another Changemaker on the line. This time we are calling Trump Tower. But not the person who has that brand name on it. We're actually talking to another person that is everything that is opposite to that name on that tower, in my view anyway. It's Kunal, a beautiful person that I actually met at the UN headquarters. And when the Changemakers, we were doing a call to action panel there at the Impact Leadership Power of Collaboration Global Summit. And just to give you, my darling audience, a little insight into my first intuition. And I say this so many times when I'm talking about personal branding. It's really about the first 7 seconds. You meet another person, there's something they give you, there's some vibe, there's something that either you think, I really, really like this person, or I would like to know more, or you happen to put them into a box that is just not serving you or them. So I'm going to give you this one. When I met Kunal, it was, wow, I want to know more. And that's why I had to get him on this podcast to share his story, because he's phenomenal. So welcome, Kunal, to the Changemakers podcast.
It's so kind of you. You know, it's amazing you say that I'm at the Trump Tower. This was actually a true story that I'm telling everyone online and on your podcast for the first time.
Okay.
I've shared it in, conversations with people.
Yeah.
When I was 15 years old, I was brought to America in an attempt to save my life because I felt I'd failed as a human being to my family.
Oh, wow.
Talk about boxes. India, we have the most powerful boxes on earth. It's called family businesses. So immediately put in a box, and you're supposed to build that box into 1,000 boxes, and then those 1,000 boxes go to your next of kin, generation to generation to generation. And at 19, I felt I'd completely failed that bar because I didn't feel I had the strength and ability to take on my dad's family business. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it was after I'd actually come back from New Zealand 2 years after high school, and I just lost about 225 pounds. I used to be 350 pounds, and then I lost 225 pounds, and I was I was in the best shape of my life.
Wow.
But I was also in the worst shape of my life mentally because I hadn't done the training to keep up with the body training with my mind and my spirit. So I was like this big elephant trapped in a Greek Adonis body. Character didn't match the body. Meaning when you're that sculpted, you're supposed to behave a certain way. You're supposed to have a certain attitude. And I still was like this really loving, compassionate, adoring, soul who loved being affectionate.
Yeah.
So, and when I came home, my dream was to start a gym, and no gyms existed in India at the time. And then, I used to work out 4 times a day, and my dad just didn't understand this lifestyle because this is a joke. Work out for 1 hour and then work for 40 hours.
Yeah.
But, even though they're only 24. And so I really felt like I'd failed my dad. And then I went into a depression, and they got really worried. God bless my parents, have the best family on earth. And in India, we didn't have any help, psychologically speaking. There was no psychiatry, folks that you could actually hang out with in this environment. So they brought me to America to try and save my life. During that time, my dad, really wanted to share with me his wisdom of his worldview and beliefs. So, he took me one day for the father-son field trip into New York. And we got off on 59th Street on the train, and we walked down 3 blocks to 56th Street. And we came into this building at the time, which was relatively, beautiful and new, 1997, I remember, in May. And I looked up and I saw this gold, and I was like, wow, this is a fascinating place we're in. And my dad said, he looked at me with a very serious look on his face and said, Toto, do you know where we are? And I was like, where, Papa? And, in the voice of God, like, how the parents' voice is like the voice of God, we're in the Trump Tower. I didn't know what the hell that meant. I thought,
no.
I really didn't, because I thought it was trumpets because it was all golden.
Yeah.
It's like a cool way of, and then I didn't know that it was actually a person.
Yeah.
And my dad then said to me, the day you live or have a home or an office in this building is the day you've arrived. So to us Indians and to a lot of us around the world, we saw and still do see Trump as a sign and beacon of achievement in life.
Yeah.
With regards to wealth creation, and also family, because, the one thing I don't think any of us still can hold back from Trump is he did raise a group of extraordinary kids. And I can say this personally because I've had the privilege of knowing a couple of them, the girls in particular, Tiffany and Ivanka. And they are really extraordinary souls.
Yeah.
So, for whatever we've seen out in the public, there's always like we said, we shouldn't put people in boxes. So I try my best to look at the good as well as everything else that's out there.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're saying that, absolutely, I so agree with you. It wouldn't be fair for anyone to put everyone into that one box.
Yeah. And I think that's what the media is doing right now. And in some ways, I'm not trying to defend, but I am trying to open our minds up to, if you took the idea of Trump, right? You draw a caricature, meaning like, a cartoon thing. You put Trump on one side, and you put all the media on the other side. If you gave any unknown human being with a heart that picture and showed it to them, honestly, who would look like the hero, the media or Trump? Because there's this one guy going up against 100 media outlets that are coming at him.
Yeah.
Right? So he does have strength and fortitude that I think we should look at as one virtue. How he uses it might be questionable, but there is that strength and ability to never give up, no matter what. And I mean, New York City is a tough city. You have to have that in order to survive.
Yeah. And I also think when you're saying that, and I don't know how and this is all my fault that we got into the Trump discussion, but I'll take that responsibility. But I think as well, and I'm very grateful for the fact that his presence and what he has been doing has been waking people up.
Exactly.
And I think that is extremely valuable because I think a good portion of us were asleep and thought things would just happen automatically, when it's really more than ever important for every single one of our human beings on this planet to wake up and become aware of our own ability to shine and become the change that we want to see in our world. Right. So I'm grateful for him for doing that.
Well, I'm grateful for, the opportunity to even explore that, and then the truth is, like, in school, I was, my first master's degree was in death psychology, and the teacher actually used Trump as an example who could never be cured. And I asked the teacher then, why not?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I was like, why not? Then if you're saying that, then, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
I don't believe, that's true. That's your limited belief.
Yeah.
Right? And we had an argument for half an hour. And sure enough, I got a C in that class. But the truth is, my stance was, if you're coming from a place of compassion and, true effective empathy for the other, you don't limit yourself by the other person's position in life, whether they're powerful or, in a place of extraordinary ego. Because sometimes those might be the things you look at to help them break through to a higher place of consciousness. So for me, it's really about being able to, as a change maker, look at everything as a possibility for positive change, and never to limit yourself by the ego, whether it's the other person's ego or your own ego.
Yeah.
Create that resonance so that you can break free of those belief systems.
And that, couldn't agree with you more on that one, Kunal. Talking about your mission in life to inspire billion people on this planet. That's a good number of people. Can you share with us what inspires you to take on that task to inspire a billion people? And what is it that you want those billion people to have or feel or be aware of once you've done your job?
So what inspires me are the people that I'm surrounded by. Saying that you are the company that you keep, just like you are what you eat, right? I really believe that what inspires me the most are those that have influenced that belief and inspired that belief within me that I'm able to do that. So I see myself as a curator of the future. I have this weird but extraordinary and blessed gift of being able to design extraordinary experiences and also weave in relationships in life that make it more meaningful. And the way I connect dots is not just by connecting people, but connecting ideas and, processes and possibility.
Yeah.
And for me, what inspires me for the billion is it's a goal that today we can actually achieve, given all of our exponential technologies, all of our innovation, all of the humanity that is connected, not just online, but offline. So that's really what inspires me at the core, is that belief that we have everything it takes, not just to inspire a billion people. Actually, believe it or not, the billion that I want to inspire just exists between this country and the United States and my own country in India.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You actually could inspire more than a billion people, and not just inspire. My dream and my goal is to transform the lives of a billion people. And that, to me, is a life worth living, in every breath, in every way you achieve that possibility. And that's really what I have set out to do. I don't just want to inspire, I want to transform. Because when it transforms my life, it lives with me, it lives in me forever, till my last breath. So inspiration's 1%. 99% is perspiration and transformation. So for me, that 100% continuum is what matters the most.
Yeah. So when you say you want to transform their lives, tell me more. Again, going to that picture, what will the world look like in your mind when you have transformed 1 billion people?
Well, see, there are different ways, but I believe the first way, I don't know if you know this fact, but there are two things that people are most scared of in life.
Yeah.
And I've read and heard this ever since I stepped in this country as an undergraduate. One is the fear of death.
Yeah.
And the second is the fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
So what I do is very clear. In my vision and with my gift as a curator, I create the conditions for you to find your voice. And I believe when you can find your voice and you speak out to the public without fear or favor, you can achieve extraordinary heights of achievement. And my goal is to create a league of extraordinary citizens in the world.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my dream.
Yeah.
So the first step is by using my own gift to create those conditions for each citizen to have that voice, that they believe in themselves, and then they take action to move forward in their lives. So I'm not transforming them. I'm helping them find everything that's within them to transform their own lives. Because in order to have true inner, truly extraordinary impact on the world, you first have to have inner transformation.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
Couldn't agree with you more. It all starts with ourselves.
Right. It starts with ourselves and who we are to each other. Don't forget each other. Because sometimes when self-transformation occurs, it can become too much of a selfish journey.
Yeah.
So we have to, really manage that process to make it a balance between myself and the other. I think that power of being able to really create a really, as the Buddha would call it, a middle path, between self-compassion, expansive compassion to others. That's what I look at, and not just compassion, but altruism. How do you be effectively altruistic? How do you create from a place of moral courage and, extraordinary ability?
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay brave in the face of adversity?
Yeah.
Really, you want to test a person's moral fiber or character, you throw them into an adverse condition and you see how they behave. Then everything comes out about the inner core of who they are, and that's what I believe is my goal, is to first give them a voice and then give them all of the tools that empowers that voice to become an active citizen in the world. Because a voice is not enough.
No, so it sounds like for them to know their core, that they value their soul and what their message really are in this world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To find your voice, and then have others who can help you cultivate that voice. It's kind of like not being in a box, because a voice can also box you.
No, yeah.
So, have that group of extraordinary leaders really help you shape, kind of like what you're doing with Change Makers. I loved about you guys where you had each other's backs on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like a group of, there's a beautiful quote by Margaret Mead, about how a small group of deeply committed citizens can truly change the world. And indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And so it's not about just one person, it's about that group.
Yeah.
And I believe that group can inspire and change, billions of lives.
Yeah.
So, it's not about me, it's about we. And everything I do in my life espouses the idea of what I've learned in positive psychology that is called the superorganism.
Yeah.
Superorganism is what I believe is what we should look at for the future.
Superorganism. Tell me more.
So
let's put the scenario here. So we have a listener. He or she really wants to step into their own power, want to be, they feel that there is something that they want to say, or they want to have an influence in the world. They want to be the change, but they don't know where to start. So where should they start?
Well, you start with yourself.
Yeah.
You do an inventory of yourself, and you create, what are the places that need, service? Does my well-being need service? Does my education need service? Do I need to up my ante on the family? You do that whole inventory process so that you become strong first.
Yeah.
The superorganism is only a superorganism when you truly are massively transformative on your purpose and your vision and your execution.
Yeah.
Right? And then you join together with like-hearted and minded and souled human beings, so you become like this force, almost like I would call it the Avengers of the real world, the Avengers Initiative. You're not perfect. You have your flaws. Yeah. That's why you look to the other to augment those abilities that you don't have. And then you kind of form this legion of superheroes in real life, because you are extraordinary in your own right, but you can't do everything. So you have this other person that helps augment that strategy.
Yeah.
And then that becomes 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and more. And then that collective becomes the superorganism.
That's
that
the superorganism.
Is able to truly augment and support one another in a way that there is no fear, there is no favor, and even if there is, there's continuous work. And because all of you have done the inner work, you don't have what's called the free rider effect.
Yeah.
And you keep checking in with each other, because you can become lazy and free riders. That's the interesting thing about humans is that we can always become lazy. Or sometimes, like you said, life happens. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
We fall off. So the responsibility of the tribe or the superorganism is to pick you back up and keep moving forward. Because, it's not about how hard you hit. And this I learned from my favorite movie, Rocky, that actually inspired me to lose the 265 pounds. And this is not from Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Yeah. It was Rocky when he's old and, he's wilted. Yeah. And he tells his son that, it's not about how hard you hit, but it's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. So that's the power of the superorganism, that you can hit a superorganism and it won't break.
Yeah.
You can hit me and I could fall down and actually break, But you hit the superorganism, it has the capacity and the wherewithal to ward off the predator no matter what and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That's what I believe the superorganism is in real life. It's a collective of extraordinary citizens and leaders that have each other's backs no matter what.
I love that. Yeah, and that's what we are creating with the change makers, and the whole process of the change makers in the future, exactly what you're talking about. So very interesting to see how we're synchronized here, Kunal.
I know. Actually, I've started a group which I call the X Fellows.
The X Fellows, yeah.
Which is like the real world version of the X-Men.
But the X Fellows. I like that.
So, I live my life in fellowship.
So speaking of boxes, and you said you were born in a box. So what do you see in your own journey? What was the thing that when you look back that made you realize that you were in a box and you needed to get out of there? That box wasn't serving you.
Yeah, I'd say that it wasn't not serving me. I have to confess that I wasn't born to be able to serve in that box. So there's a difference, It's because it's a heavy heart I say that with, because every son wants to fulfill their ability to serve their father, or their family. And I wasn't born to be the, typical engineer in the family that creates massive scale at large within the family business. And, we have, and touch wood, I'm blessed to be part of that family. It's afforded me so many opportunities, but I didn't have the wherewithal or the tools for some reason to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Even though my dad sent me to the best of schools in India that literally groom you like the military would to become the most extraordinary engineer on earth.
Yeah.
I just broke free of those chains and flew out of my country because of my mother, because, I firmly believe this. Intuitively, moms know something about their kids that no other, human being does. And I think
there is a special connection. I'm saying that as a mom. There is a special connection,
So, from the womb, right? So you probably know more about us as souls. And my mom knew that he needed to break free. So she really devoted her whole life to try and, unbox me.
Yeah.
And by taking me to different boxes to see which box.
I know this conversation about boxes can be endless. I just love the fact that when I've been realizing the box that I'm putting other people in, and when I'm aware of it, and I ask myself the question, what is that giving me back to put this person into this particular box? And the answer so far has been absolutely nothing. And then I've just decided to let go, give that person the freedom, or getting them out of those boxes that I put them into. And the funny thing is, when I've been going a little bit deeper into this, I've noticed, because you know how we're always mirroring things?
Yeah.
I've noticed that what I was doing was something that I felt was lacking in my life at the time.
Yeah.
And I was filling myself up that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
When I realized that, that's where I really can go and say, hey, Runa, this is your life. So what do you do to fulfill that? And then I can go and fulfill whatever that was and go on and allow people to be free.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I love your boxes.
Thank you. Well, really not my boxes. And I think my parents did the same thing. You know, they kind of like, they decided, okay, we're not going to put him on a box.
Yeah.
And when I was about 9, I was in college, 19 actually, they brought me to the United States when I remember I said I had a really depressed experience at Trump Tower. That's when my mom decided, you know what, I'm going to bring him here and let him explore where he feels most empowered.
Yeah.
And again, God bless them, because I went through, you know, a wave of up and down and almost felt like I was stuck in a world of infinity.
Yeah.
The truth is, you know, through that process of letting go is when I truly found my calling as a human being. And it took me a decade, you know, and tons of tragedy and lots of failure, and a few wins. But I think I learned more from suffering and failure than I did from the wins in my life.
So truly letting go, embracing the failure has been the key to get out of the box there.
I mean, I don't preach that people fail. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but understanding that there's a purpose with the failure.
Exactly, that when you do fail, there's a lesson, and get back up and keep moving forward. There's always, you know, when you hit rock bottom, that's a great foundation to like build from and catapult into the next voyage of your life. So don't look at failure as an end, but a means to a new beginning, and perhaps even a beginning that you were destined for. You know, so I really believe in destiny.
Kunal, I'm gonna allow these wise words to be the last words in this episode, because I think that is profound, and I'm gonna leave it with the audience so that they can start to look at their own lives and see where I've actually been there, what they have categorized as being a failure. What was the learning process, and how are they embracing their own lives and their boxes that they are either put themselves in, or they're now maybe realizing that someone else put them into and they have the power to get out of. So thank you, Kunal, for sharing your wisdom. It's priceless. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Value for you? I sure hope so. If so, feel free to share the love and give us your generous review on iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify. And remember, you can always go to runamagnus.com and find out more about the Changemakers and how we can help you driving the change you want to see.